Is so overall, if I price something differently, and can I really charge more today for engagement, or is it, will I really do better if I've got content online just doing a straight CPM for the time being?
Yeah, so I'd maybe offer another perspective, right? Going back to sort of the concept of experimentation, I think the entire market is still relatively new. You've got, like Matt said, sort of this equivalency issue in terms of, spending a lot of money offline. They know what the metrics are they're looking for. They know what the pricing ranges are and the like. Online, because the fact that you can actually track a lot more, it actually, in some cases, actually confuses things more a little bit. So one of the things that we see actually has been working out well is performance pricing, allowing someone to buy or to test buy based on performance pricing. So that they don't have to commit a CPM per se. They will say buy on a cost per click, cost per engagement, or cost per X. And if they like it and they come back for a larger buy where they want to buy on the CPM, where they want to buy on the lingo they're familiar with, we're starting to sort of see that trend on the buy side as well.
Prior to starting Uyala, I worked at Google. I worked on the AdSense team, and one of the last projects I worked on was trying to make a little bit of money from this little video site called YouTube. And early on, we licensed some content from professional producers and went out and tried to sell advertising to GM and Procter & Gamble and all these guys. And early on, they're like, hey, YouTube, we've heard of it. You're Google. We're willing to pay $50, $60 CPMs. But Google being Google, they were very transparent about what was going on. And sure enough, the 10 GRP that we were selling them at the beginning turned out to be a 1 GRP because the majority of the people that were actually watching the content were opening up new tabs to check their email. They were surfing around the page when the ads were playing. So of course, all subsequent buys from P&G and GM that came in were at a fraction of the original CPMs. Now, obviously we keep very close touch with Google and what they're doing with YouTube. They are finding that new advertising models that are coming out are there to support other monetization models. So whenever a content owner is actually thinking about monetizing their content, they should think about the holistic monetization opportunities. They should look at pay-per-view, they should look at subscription, they should look at traditional advertising. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about advertising, it's about revenue and monetization.
If I may too, one last thing on the CPM that I think, I'm sure everybody up here would agree with on the panel, but we haven't hit yet, was that unlike traditional television, because it's the internet and there is the interactivity, we can track a click-through rate. So the traditional CPM, is not the same thing as it used to be in traditional media, because obviously, we can tell how performance-based that unit was.
So we can track engagement, we can track hovers, and we've tried several different pricing models. At the end of the day, the question always comes back, what is the relative CPM? Because that's where the money is right now. So that's what they're buying.
So I'm going to talk a little bit about where people are buying ads and how they're buying ads, and more generally, where's video running? Because I get clients who approach me a lot who say, I have an idea, I want to build a website, I'm going to run video on it, and I want to sell ads. But in talking to you guys, everyone was much more focused on, I want to measure the ads when it's on somebody else's site. So I wanted to talk a little bit about what's the trend for where video goes, and also I would have thought the other site would be measuring it. So kind of what's going on in terms of where's video going and how's it being measured around the web.
Okay, I think she's looking at me.
Yes, sorry. I'm reading. I'm looking at
exactly. So I want to talk to you guys about an experiment that we did with YouTube actually over the weekend. We opened a movie that some of you might have heard of called Wolverine, X-Men Origins Wolverine, and last Saturday we bought the homepage of YouTube in 14 different countries, not the United States, because I, again, cover outside the United States and Canada. We bought it on the, what is relatively a CPM basis, but what we wanted to do and our purpose for buying it on a Saturday was to be able to see if unlike what studios traditionally do, which is to buy it on opening day, which it has a very strong call to action, see it today, would we, by buying it on a Saturday, actually see a viral spread of the video up to opening day and thus actually maximize our dollars? Do I have an answer for you? No. But We're hoping so because we actually did a tracking study with YouTube in 2 countries to measure that, as well as some research behind that to see who actually watched the video and went to see the movie. We need to do more of this to really understand how video is driving purchase behavior, not just for studios, but for other ad buyers, I believe. And it's not cheap. YouTube was willing to come to the table to prove this, because once they do it with us and we gave them permission to publish the results, obviously the money will follow.
In terms of where content owners want to monetize their content, we found that they really want to monetize it everywhere. That more and more they're building up their own video capabilities on their own sites. They're syndicating out, certainly, to places like Hulu, Fancast, et cetera. And now that we have enabled the ability to identify their premium content in user-generated sites, they want to be able to do it there. By being able to combine all of part of the problem is that for a lot of these companies, those are all on different systems. So being able to have, for example, what we do, being able to aggregate it all so you can manage all of it across one system and have an advertiser then being able to buy across all the different platforms is starting to facilitate that. So people are being able to see, okay, you can do a larger ad buy, you can manage across multiple platforms all in one place, you can handle your rights from one place and really exploit the opportunity much better.
So if I'm a content owner, I'm a little confused, and I want to get my video out to other sites. Who's selling the ads? So if I am Fox and I'm putting it on Yahoo, are they selling the ads? Who's responsible for tracking, or is YouTube?
This is an excellent question.
Or who?
Is there an
it's
answer?
confusing.
There is an answer. Historically, it's happened one of 2 ways. That either companies put their product in a player and syndicate that player out. There are a lot of advantages to players, obviously. But for some websites, they don't like the players because they can't, anything that's in the player, they can't actually view what's happening in that player. They can't put it in their search on their site. It's not an integrated part of the experience. The other possibility is to send somebody a feed of your content. But then what happens when you feed it to them, if you have the opportunity to sell, and usually content owner will have some inventory and the publisher will have some inventory, you need to then call the publisher and say, okay, how much inventory do I have? And they give you an amount, and then you go out and sell it, and then you fax an insertion order back, and then they place it, and then 30 days later, they let you know how it's done. So the idea, with like what Auditude does, is having one platform that both parties can sell into at the same time. People are able to manage both parties are able to manage their rights. You're able to review reporting in real time. You're able to make changes on the fly in real time. And so the idea is opening up the entire infrastructure to make it easier for all parties, because right now it's complicated.
And what are some of the rest of you doing in terms of, are your clients the websites, the content owners, both? I mean, how is the tracking working, and what sorts of issues are you trying to address?
It's not working. Let me put that out there. It's not working at all. We run a lot of video across a lot of different outlets. And once you expand that outside, particularly the United States, what we end up doing are making a lot of phone calls saying, can you tell me how many video views we were able to get on MSN in Germany? How did we do in Terra? And these outlets are not willing to take, any line of code and put it within their sites, because they don't want us to have that kind of visibility. They want to be able to tell us and, have a bit of control over what's happening on their sites. And so what I've been doing, and what I've actually talked to Matt about, is how do we get to a point where people are willing to say, look, we need to have some sort of standard around video.